We've come to this little waterway here, which Lassie is ably demonstrating that she's a very good water finding dog. So she's showing you that the water goes some way up this valley with various levels, depths and other keep it clean, and other things. There's quite a long narrow wet valley going up there, Lassie. Anyway, so we were camping just up there, and then we actually did collect water from this valley just here, and I didn't film. And then we're walking along here. I put my pack back on and everything, and luckily there was a little valley of water coming through here, so I thought I wouldn't be too lazy just film Lassie splashing and showing you that we've collected water. So the plan now is to cross here, is to have a good old splash, and then to cross here and head up to the top or near Hard Knot, and well, like maybe a couple of kilometers, and then see if we can find somewhere to camp up there tomorrow to head down to the car from up there. We'll try and find somewhere off the beaten track up there, because it's not a million miles from the car park, so it's not my ideal spot for camping, but I just think it would be quite nice to walk down there from the car. And I'd rather do it a little bit closer than back here, because I've got quite a drive, you know, back home tomorrow. So within reason, the closer to the car I am, the better. And also, I don't mind being a little bit further away from the car if I was going to be taking the easy bridle way around. But as I'm not sure how I'm going to get down, if I'm even going to get down, which I think I will, you know, better to get as close as possible, and then if you can't do it, you can turn around, walk back, and then come down around the bridleway. So it's kind of, you know, killing half a dozen birds with one stone, as they say. But it's quite a spectacular landscape around here. It's certainly been chiseled out in a very rough way, you know, by the weather. And it certainly shows, all right, bearing in mind this is not the middle of August or holidays or anything like that, but, you know, we've had a couple of days here in the middle of June, and, you know, we haven't really seen anyone, so pretty good going on that score. Obviously, we're seeing people in the distance, you know, wandering around the hills, but so far we've missed them, which is a good thing. All right, we're going to carry on, and then we will catch up with you a little bit later on. That rock just there is Eubank, and then Hard Knot is sort of that lump either dead ahead or just beyond that. I'm not exactly sure. There does seem to be a path that cuts through here, so it must be a pretty safe bet that it's okay here. I just saw this funny white head bob up, and I wondered what it was. And there's a sheep just over there. I just wanted to also stop just to show you the view from up here. You can see that we were camped on one of the knolls just down there. I couldn't say exactly which one. I think that fairly big one, somewhere down there. I can't really tell on the screen, but because we crossed some water as well, don't forget. So we were camped down there, but you can see the river is completely dry. There doesn't seem to be any water in that river at all. So, you know, I think this time of the year, if you're going to be heading up that way, you're going to be hunting for water a little bit by the looks of it there, because that river looks dry. Now there's probably some little rivulets running down to it, because that's where I collected water from down here. So there is water coming off the hills, but certainly not a huge amount. And then obviously we came up this valley down here, so there's a huge gorge just down here. So we came up this path there, this side of that gorge, around the back of that knoll, and then we were camping somewhere just over there, sort of down there. We didn't go far back, because then we camped somewhere here, and then we just walked across there over there. So the walks have been, you know, pretty short. So where those people were camping, you can see where the river comes around here over there. Well, they would have been camping just down there, but that river also looks completely dry, and that is a valley and a river that goes all the way up into those hills over there, and there's no water in that river either, and it hasn't been that dry, surely. I know we've had some hot weather, but I'm surprised how dry those rivers are, to be honest. Okay, well, we're gonna carry on in this direction, and we'll kind of see what we see, basically. This side, this is this side of Hard Knot. I think that the first bit up here is called the steeple, and then the other side is where Hard Knot is. This is the somewhat dried up remnants of the lake that is up here. So this was the reason why I brought water with me up here, because I had a feeling that this would be dried up. And even if there was some here, this is one that I probably wouldn't take water from. It just seems more yucky, and there's a lot more sheep around here as well. It's more concentrated here. So there, I wouldn't take water from there and drink it. But having said that, if the water was flowing from here, of which it would do at some point, and then down into the valley, then I would take that water, because it would be filtered through all of this stuff through here. Although you may still want to be just a little bit cautious with this one, because it depends. I can imagine, and I'm going to try and find somewhere to camp here as well, given this isn't a million miles from the road as well. I can imagine that this is probably frequented by campers as well, so we're going to have to sort of tuck ourselves away if we do find somewhere. But for the minute, we're just going to go on a little bit further and just have a look at Hard Knot. And given that it's really only like 1 kilometre anyway, we're just going to have a look and see whether we can get down. But given there's a very clear path going through here, plus I can see a path on my Garmin watch there, then, you know, and we're on that path as well, then I really don't see, I really don't see a problem. But I think it's worth, just taking a few minutes just to go and have a look, as we haven't done this before. And this is very boggy and mucky here, because Lassie looks quite mucky. Lassie, come here. Come and show off your muddy legs. There, you see, quite mucky and muddy. Good girl, sit. Sit. Good girl. Show your mucky, muddy legs off there. All right, well, we're gonna carry on walking a little bit, and we'll catch you up later. Okay, well, we found somewhere to camp. We've had a little bit of a adventure. Probably what I ought to have done is what some of these girl channels do and record as I'm walking and all the adventures on the way. The thing is, I never think about doing it. You think after like all this time that I actually would think about it, but I never actually do. And also I have this weird mentality that I just want to keep walking and that I don't want to stop. It's a very strange psychological thing that I have. This whole area here is a hard knot, and this slab of concrete rock here, I think, is brought, well, it's like the end of it. And I was tempted to camp somewhere back there a little way, but because I've never been here before and I didn't know how you get off of Hard Knot, and I didn't want to risk tomorrow morning it being, you know, misty and foggy and then getting a bit confused up here, because it's not the easiest up here. It's okay in broad daylight, but when it's, but obviously if it was very misty, then I do think you'd have to be cautious. Now if I'd have gone left straight away when I reached the end, which actually isn't this rock here, I think it's the next rock over, to be honest. Now I'm saying that, but whatever. Yeah, I think the end part is the rock, is that line of rock, not this line of rock. That's why I say it can get a bit confusing, but basically you need to go as far as you can go until you come to a great line of rock, which isn't this line, because I think you can walk straight through, is the next slab of rock, which is basically like a barrier. And when I was looking at the map, I was thinking that you could go around that way and down, to the right and down, but I wasn't sure whether it was, you know, doable or not. And, you know, having looked over there, I don't think it is. I think it would be far too perilous to do it that way. So I was walking in this direction. I got to that slab of rock at the end, and I did see some paths going to the left. And if I'd have taken the left-hand path, then obviously I would have seen the path that goes pretty much straight down to the road, and it looks an easy path. So if you are coming up this way, when you get to that slab of rock at the very end and you can't go any further, go left and just sort of follow it down, and then you'll get down that way quite easily by the looks of it. I haven't done that bit yet, but it does look okay. I did see some paths going straight on, so I went over the top of those rocks, which you can do, but then basically you just come to a dead end and you can't get down straight. You know, you'd literally be, you know, have to be Spider-Man or Iron Man or something like that to jump down. So you do have to come this way down here. So as I said, if I was in the mindset, which I never have been, to be honest, of filming something like that, it probably would have been more exciting and adventurous for you all. But anyway, I didn't, and this is where we are. So basically I came back this way, and I don't want to be walking, you know, a load of distance back in that, you know, direction. If I come out this way again, I'll know it, and I could camp, you know, further back that way and know what I'm doing, even if it was, you know, even if it's misty. I think a bit of a reconnaissance is always, you know, wise. I think even in the mist I would have worked it out, but it just would have been a little bit more worrisome, you know, in the mist. Interestingly, my Garmin watch actually has that path going down in that direction. So if I'd have sort of followed that a little more closely, which I was until I got to this point here, and then I thought, well, let's just have a look in that direction, then I would have got down. And Garmin Explore also, interestingly, had the path going down. It's not on the OS maps and it's not on the Harvey maps, but it is shown on the Garmin Explore app, just that one little bit of a path down there. So anyway, like I said, I don't want to be walking all the way back that way, and I just want somewhere kind of fairly, you know, discreet to camp. And you can see that if people are walking up, they're either going to be coming up that way and around, or more likely they're going to be coming up one of these paths up here, or around here, and then heading up that way along those paths up there to look at all of that stuff over there or over there. And I don't really think that anybody's going to be heading kind of in this direction somehow. So basically what I've found is I was just wandering around here trying to find somewhere that's not a million miles away, because like I said, I've already walked about 4.5 kilometers. I don't really see the point in walking back, you know, a load of kilometers when I got to come back this way tomorrow. Like I said, if I come out this way again, then I might be a little bit more adventurous another time, maybe. So basically I found this little area down here, and I would be very, very surprised, you know, if anyone was to stumble across here. You can see the farm down there, and you can see Hard Knot Pass Road down there and the river. So, you know, it is a little bit closer to civilization than I would normally go, but I still think it's remote enough. And again, I don't think anyone's going to be coming around here. The Trailstar is pretty discreet, and I think it will pitch in this area here easily enough, give or take. It's not necessarily the perfect, it looks a lot of bumpy grass, but actually when you stand on it, the tussocky grass stuff just flattens down fairly nicely. It's a bit, some of it's these bits here are a bit more lumpy, so I don't think I can come over here so much. But I think in here is probably the best place anyway, somewhere in that, right in the middle there, and have a nice low pitch. Go for a low pitch, I think. A little bit more inconvenient for me, but a little bit more stealthy, given that there is a farm just down there. We don't want to be disturbing them or anything. So that's where we are. And then you've got a view up that valley up there. And obviously if we'd have taken the easy path, then we would have come around that valley and then presumably joined the road down there somewhere. That might be okay for the winter, maybe. And then you've got another valley going up through there, so we're kind of surrounded by valleys, and then a big broad valley, you know, through there. It's quite a big flat area down there. All right, so this is hopefully where we will be staying tonight, and then it's a fairly easy walk down to the pass down there, which is literally just this road down here. We'll join it down there, and it's about 2 kilometers back to the car. I would have preferred to have gone to to the right hand side of hard knot and down, because then that will kind of get you closer to the car, but that does not seem to be a way down that way. I always seem to forget how massive the Trailstar is, and I kind of think, oh, I know it's going to fit in that space and it's going to fit this side of this rock, but it actually covers the rock. So obviously be prepared that if you have a rock in the way like here, you know, make sure that you've got something that you can put between the Trailstar and the rock, because clearly you don't want something. So in this instance I've put that. Once I know I've got it finalized and it's exactly how I want it, I will probably put Lassie's pack. I will probably put Lassie's pack there, most likely. Rest that over that rock, then it's something that's even less likely to blow away or something like that, because that potentially could get blown, I don't know. But basically we've put that there. Now this is just a loose pitch at the moment. I've not done the edges. I might just make it a fraction lower still. As you can see, because this is a lower pitch already, you can see that there is less general slack, you know, in it. A little tip for you, and I do sometimes do this, although last night I pitched and I had to jiggle the Trailstar around, you know, quite a bit last night to get it over exactly where I wanted. But once you've done your loose pitch, maybe put your foam mat on the ground and then just lie down, you know, approximately where you're going to be, and that is comfortable enough. You know, I can sit up here, so I might actually just make this a fraction lower just to make it a little bit more stealthy, but I don't think anyone's going to see it here anyway. But I might just lower it just you know, a fraction, not much, but just a fraction. All right, I'll carry on with the pitching. Good evening from camp. We're watching my iPhone acting as a video recorder now for watching a video. We've got food laid out here. We've got tea laid out here. We've got more food laid out here. My cheese is partly melted. Inside the door, we've got Lassie's pack, my shoes. I've got a bit of a signal, so I've put my phone up there as a Wi-Fi hotspot. Oh God. Because there's no real signal, you know, actually in camp level, but if I put my other phone up there, then I can use it as a Wi-Fi hotspot. And then over here I've put my clothes there, just on that rock, my waterproof jacket, socks, and then just bits here, spare clothes, well, not spare clothes, but I brought my jumper, which I've never needed. I brought my down jacket, which I never needed, and a spare, and one hat and one pair of gloves that I didn't need. But literally just, you know, a few days ago back home, which is south of here, it was really quite chilly. So I thought I'd better bring those things, but it's, I have to say, actually been, you know, very, very warm. And then this is the back of the Trailstar. It's ridiculous how big this thing is. It's crazy. And that's the back of the Trailstar, and there's a ton of room there. And obviously you've got all this stuff here, and then I've got all of that space over there, and then one Lassie dog, stay Lassie, stay, over there. So, you know, there is an absolute ton of space in here. My head is just brushing. We have got quite a low, you know, quite a low pitch here, and it has just started to rain a little bit. But you know, even though it's a low pitch and I'm brushing, you know, it really doesn't matter, because, you know, I can sit up. I'm sitting up my full height. If I move more into the center, then I'll have even more headroom. And obviously, theoretically, if I move more to the door, you know, I'll have even more headroom. It's only because I've just got this angle here, but actually if I move more to the door, I'd actually have this headroom, you know, up there. So we're fine here. We're fine here. How are you all? Anyway, like I said, that's the view out the door, which is not a bad view at all. So we will catch up a bit later on.